Hello, can you hear me?
Good morning. I sure can.
Good morning. Okay, I'm gonna move to a better location so that I don't look like my head's getting chopped off.
No.
Just wait.
She's with the Bloomberg.
She can give it, yeah. Present it.
She's with the economic justice program lead, the Greenwood Initiative. Bloomberg.
Is my DTCC showing up the right way, Joey?
Yes, it looks backwards to you, but it'll look fine. It looks fine. Okay. Well, pray we should have given you a National Black MBA background.
Yeah.
You can join
um,
us.
My computer's weird. I've tried it before. It doesn't really work. It gets weird. I don't know. Maybe I got
You might need to upgrade your system.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Because it asks you if you have a green screen.
What'd you say?
Does it ask you if you have a green screen?
Yes.
That's when you know you need to upgrade your system. You should make National Black MBA pay for that. Just saying.
It's on my list, my very long list.
You're like, and leave Jody Brockington off my list.
What's up, Dylan?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Dylan's running things and we appreciate it.
I am.
Yes, you got us all together. You're like, slide 16 through 19, so and so. And I was like, okay, I got you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
All the time.
Do you want to keep the headphones on or do you want to be headphoneless since this will be taped? Are you afraid?
I mean, I could take them off.
Cheryl and I both got our hair flowing.
All right. Hold on.
Hey, Jody, this was a process for you.
I know. And I'm loving the yellow. Makes me want to wear yellow, but not really because I get all blended.
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh man.
Y'all. Yes, y'all. Howdy. Howdy from Dallas. Can you all?
Can you all? Isn't y'all in the dictionary or did I just make that up?
Y'all is a Southern word that is used as if it was in the dictionary, but
Very true.
I worked down south in Charlotte for a very long time, and it became a part of business lingo. Y'all.
See?
Come on, y'all. Y'all, what's up? What's up?
I had to get deprogrammed after I moved back.
Ray, I know you're gonna take over the beginning part, but can we just do a quick run through?
Sure.
Just so that we can get one last refresh.
Yep. Let me, all right. So Let me see if I can,
And Raina, did she sign on?
not yet.
Okay.
All right, so I'll kick it off here with welcome. I will go here, talk a little bit about conference, remind about the conference app, a quick survey, talk a little bit about the companies that are going to be at conference this year, how to upload their resumes so employers can actually see them and they can set up interviews, what to expect at the conference, tips to keep in mind before the conference begins, cover those 6 quickly. Code of conduct is my final slide, and then I will introduce you all in your session. I will introduce you each by name and title, and then hand it off to whoever's going to do the survey. Is it you,
Is that Dylan?
Yeah, I guess I can do the survey. How is it gonna show on the screen? Am I reading out each question?
I'll pull the survey up, and once everyone's voted, I'll close it, and then the results will show on the screen, and then you can talk about the results. And then once you're done with that, I'll go to the next slide, to your specific details. And it'll be easier if you just say next slide and I'll advance them for you, because I know I've tried before to give the other person control. It always gets weird. So just next slide and I'll advance them as you say. So we go there and here, here. I'll just go through these quickly so you can see what's up. The about portion.
That's mine. That's mine.
You pick up there.
And that.
I think that's it. I'll let you guys do the Q&A. And I'll come back and close us out here and give you all some final comments as well.
One
And
has the
One of the slides say facility. No, it's missing a C.
where's that at? This one?
Facilitators.
You might want to just do a control F and find facilitator.
Okay, I got you. All right, let me get that fixed real quick. Aha, good catch.
The one that introduces the team.
Okay. Cool. Yep. So after I do the intro that introduces you all, I will give it to Dylan. I'm going to go on mute and I will listen for you to let me know when to advance the slides, but I'll pull up the survey, Dylan, so you can do that portion of the results and then you guys can take it from there.
Now, how long are you giving them to do the survey, Dylan?
2 minutes?
You want to give them, that's where we can YouTube my band playing and have them playing band music. Jody,
Okay.
in text.
I'm all down for it.
Well, where's it was a YouTube. I was finding Battle of the Bands. Jody, do you have, because my phone's not by me.
What do you want me to send it back to you?
Send it back to Dylan, the YouTube I sent.
Oh, okay.
Is he a co-facilitator? Will he be able to, or how does that work?
You all can share screen.
Okay, but during the survey, can he share screen or no?
You should be able to. I want to test it real quick, Dylan. Just see if you can share your screen right now. You should be able to.
I don't know if DTCC firewalls will enable us to be able to do this though.
No, well,
I can't find it.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
No, it's sharing right now.
Yep.
Okay. You might have more access than I do with the firewalls. Can you get
Everything.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so locked down because I have to request access for everything that I'm just like, I get.
So I just sent it to you, Dylan, what she had sent to me.
An email?
Okay, so Raina's joining now.
I was finding all kinds of chants and they were back. But the Battle of the Bands was pretty cool. Did it come up or did it block it?
It came up. So is the idea that, so am I reading the questions or am I just, am I just telling them, hey, here's a quick survey and then like it'll pop up on the screen for them to?
Yeah, they'll see it. Yeah, they'll see it and they can vote as well. And I'll show you the results after they finish voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the goal would be the pray for us to play the music on side while they're doing it, because 2 minutes of silence sucks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, maybe 1 minute because it's only what, 4 or 5 questions.
Yeah, and then I can also see who's answering, who's not answering. So I'll know when it's just about done. It may be a minute. It may be a few seconds.
Yeah, it's usually not very long. It's usually about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 30 minutes of the Battle of the Bands.
1 minute.
Okay.
So it's just I wanted
30 minutes.
30 seconds, I meant.
Everyone that's on the webinar, good afternoon. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Thank you all for your patience. We're just waiting on one other person, I think, to join us. Is that correct, Jody?
Yes.
Rain is logging in? Okay. We'll get started in just about 2 minutes, folks. Thank you all for your patience. There's that word, y'all. I just said it.
See?
See? Well, I love you guys.
It's a word. Don't fight it.
It is.
It's still not letting her in, LaPre.
I don't see anything that would limit her ability. You said
Send her a separate thing.
No, so she has the panelist invitation. I don't see anything blocking her. She's not anything. Let me I can resend it to her real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe if it's just fresh.
Wait, in order for y'all to hear it, I need to be sharing my screen.
You can play the Battle of the Bands now while we wait.
You sure can.
No, what I'm saying is if I play it right now, y'all probably won't be able to hear it unless I'm.
Oh. Oh, because
Try.
you're going to play it. You can't play it on your phone?
Oh, I guess I could.
Separate.
That'd be easier if you have on your phone too. That way you won't have to change screens and everything.
Yeah, that might work.
All right, let's see how good or bad it
Come on,
sounds.
you're our tech talent. We just work here.
I know, right?
Don't start that narrative.
So I just resent the invitation. Raina.
And then, LaPre, were you able to find the one link that would lead them to our page where the jobs are? Were you able to get that?
Oh, I didn't know that was for me to do that. I thought you were talking to Dylan on that one. I'm sorry. I did not do
No, that was for you.
I'm sorry. I did not. Okay.
Can you shoot someone on the inside that?
What if I put it into the chat? Can we do that?
Perfect.
All right. So I just resent.
Raina.
It was Raina.
Raina, you didn't get the background? I'll mess with you. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna test this out, this video.
Let's hear a little bit of the battle before we open it up. Raina, no bun today? What happened?
I can whip up something really quickly for
I'm
you.
just messing with you. It looks like.
My plan B when I was early stages of quarantine struggle.
Oh, able to hear it? Was it too low?
I can't hear it.
Good at all.
Now I know you have to have a speaker somewhere that you can hook it up to.
I mean, I can turn
He said if he was bumping in his car.
Don't do that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Huh?
Raina, you have the background yet?
That actually sounds good. That was,
Yeah, I sent you the background that we're using right now.
I'm adding it now. Apparently I already had it, didn't realize it.
Right. Are we ready to get started, folks?
2 seconds for her to put her background up.
Oh, okay.
Please.
is Deanna joining us too?
No.
For the link also.
You want us to mute LaPrey before you start?
Yeah, I was gonna mute you all. Yeah. All right. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. On behalf of the National Black MBA Association, I want to welcome you to our final webinar in the HBCU Career Crash Course series. Today's webinar is sponsored by DTCC, which stands for Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, for those that didn't know. They're a financial services company, and we'll hear much more about them and some of the great opportunities that they have for you later in the discussion. But we are very excited to have you all to join us this afternoon and hope that you are all remaining safe. My name is LaPrey George, and I'm the Senior Director of our chapters, members, and university relations here at our national headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also a proud graduate of Clark Atlanta University. Here at National Black MBA, we recognize HBCUs as a true source of academic accomplishment and great pride for the Black community, as well as the entire nation. We're here to support you, along with our partners at DTCC, by providing opportunities and exposure to resources such as this to assist you on your educational journey and as you prepare to enter the workforce. So if you hadn't heard by now, and before we dive into the content, I want to remind you all that this year we're going to be hosting our 42nd annual conference and career fair, just a few weeks away. This year, and for the very first time, we're going to host the entire event in a completely virtual format. Been working extremely hard behind the scenes to bring as much as of our traditional conference to this virtual format. And the information we share during today's webinar, like the others we've had in the series, are designed to assist you in your journey by making sure you are as prepared as possible. So if you haven't already done so, please register for the conference. You can even scan the code on the screen right now to get to the registration page and learn more about the conference overall. There's also a conference app. You can download the app today. The app allows you to not only see the overall content for the upcoming conference, but you can also set your own personal schedule, look at the different events that are happening, the different breakout sessions, see some of the guest speakers, and literally plan out your day so that you'll have a clear agenda for how you attack things when the conference opens on the 23rd. So before we dive into the content, I want to do a quick survey around the conference and just to get a sense for where people are with getting prepared for the conference. So I'm going to launch a poll that you should see on your screen now. So please take a minute or two to answer these 3 quick questions. Curious to know if you registered for the conference already, if your resume is updated and ready to go, and if you're familiar with our Career Success Network, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a moment. So I got some votes coming in, got about half of you that have completed. Thank you for your promptness on that. Just past the halfway mark. Let's keep it going. Give you a couple of more seconds to submit your responses. Just about, got about 70% of you. Within a few stragglers, give you a couple more seconds. Almost, maybe. I think it's slowing down, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there just for the sake of time. Thank you for those that participated. And let's see what we got. All right, so for the first question, Have you registered for the conference? Looks like not that many of you have. 27% of you have, but the majority of you have not, but plan to soon, which is great. Good to know that you are planning to do so. Still have time to do that, so definitely want to make sure you are able to do so. Is your resume updated and ready to share? Glad to see that majority of you do have your resumes ready to go. As you know, that's the first step in getting in front of some of those employers and be able to leave your mark and obviously let them see your skill sets and where you are in the talent pool. And then lastly, are you familiar with the Career Success Network? Looks like majority of you are not, but some of you are, which is great. But those that have not, I will certainly tell you a little bit more about that and why it's so important. So thank you all for taking the time to do the survey. There'll be another survey by one of our sponsors from DTCC, but wanted to kick things off with that. And thank you for those that participated. All right, so this year's conference, just like every other year, there will be hundreds of employers on hand looking to hire diverse talent, honestly looking to hire Black talent just like you. Our conference year over year is the largest diversity conference of its kind. You certainly will have your pick, if you will, of various employers from different sectors, from nonprofit, government relations, even educational institutions are going to be on hand, as well as our sponsor DTCC will be offering actually jobs postings starting, I believe now, where you can go onto the site and be able to apply for those right away. So as I mentioned, the Career Success Network. So this is your first stop in the overall process to secure your full-time job or internship. You're going to want to go on the Career Success Network to upload your resume first and foremost. We even provide you with a free resume evaluation from one of our sponsors. That evaluation is great. I actually tried it out myself just to see how it worked. And you get a really thorough breakdown of your resume and where you can improve on different points. And obviously they offer their services to help you with that. Once your resume is up to par, you're ready to post it out there. You want to put it out there and review the different employers and opportunities that exist within the network. Obviously, there'll be some that are more appealing than others, but you can use this time to really do your homework and find the best fit based on your background and where you see yourself in the future. Certainly, you can apply for the positions right away within the network. You can schedule interviews as employers follow back up with you. You can also get updates on your profile views. So when you post your resume, you can actually see who's looking at it, see how many times they've done so. And obviously keep track of the positions you apply for. So not only are you posting your resume, but you're getting an ongoing statistics, if you will, of where things stand and where you are amongst some of your colleagues. So highly recommend that you do that right away. You don't even have to be a member to be a part of the network. You can go in, set your profile up and do that right away. And again, this is the gateway to get in front of those employers before conference begins. All right, so before I turn it over to our sponsors, I want to just go over some quick tips to help you prepare for the conference. There's just 6 things you probably already know, but I want to just make sure that you understand how important these things are, especially in a virtual environment. So I'm going to share some quick tips that'll help you to understand how to best navigate this virtual environment and prepare yourself for this year's conference. Okay, so first and foremost, as I mentioned, you definitely want to do your homework, and that starts by looking up companies that are going to be attending the conference. If you go into our main website, you can see a complete listing of all the companies that will be in attendance. And if any of those do pique your interest, you can obviously learn more about them, see what opportunities they have on the Career Success Network, and apply for those positions right away. So doing your homework is obviously the first step to getting in front of those employers and pre-booking interviews, if you will, before the conference. Making a plan. The second step is definitely want to lay out what you want to do, what you want to accomplish during the annual conference. As I mentioned, the conference app is up and available now. That's the best way to see the full conference agenda and make your own plan outside of the career fair. So obviously the career fair is a big part of what we do, but there are different components of the conference. There are breakout sessions. There are different chances to interact and engage with other students like yourself. So definitely recommend that you do those things to make a plan for your time during the conference. Check your technology. So I'm sure we all have smartphones and laptops and tablets, things like that, but just make sure that you have the most up-to-date software to manage the actual virtual platform. When you register for the conference, you'll get an email with the different system checks that you can complete to make sure you have all the updated software, that your camera's working properly. Everything that you need to be successful in the conference will be provided to you to make sure that you have a chance to check that before the conference begins. Get your brand ready. So you want to make sure that you have your high-res headshot that you can add to your profile. Make sure that you have a quiet environment where you can actually take place of the conference and not have many distractions that are happening around you. So really just make sure that you are presenting yourself in the best light, and that your environment is also conducive to that atmosphere. So definitely want to make sure that you are ready and that your brand is ready in that regard. Start early. So the conference begins on the 23rd, but the career fair is open until the 24th. So on the 23rd, you have a chance to go in, set your profile, look around and see kind of how the platform is all laid out, just to get a better sense for what to expect when the career fair opens. Definitely don't want to spend time on the career fair opening day trying to figure things out. So use the time before conference begins to jump in and get a good head start on you putting your best foot forward. And last but not least, once you've done all the different things that I mentioned thus far, it's game time. You want to get focused and make sure that you're ready to go. You know, make sure your computer audio is set. Make sure you don't have your cell phone nearby, or if it is, it's on vibrate. It's not going to be a distraction. Make sure you have all the things you need to keep yourself, you know, planted where you are and occupied within the virtual platform. You don't want to have to get up and take multiple breaks and things like that, but you do want to set some time for a break. So make sure you have a clear schedule, if you will, for your time during the conference. So I think those 6 tips are the tip of the iceberg, but really will help you to put your best foot forward, make sure you've covered all the bases as it relates to your presence during the virtual conference. And there's also a code of conduct that we are expecting everyone to abide by. You certainly understand social standards and as it relates to the virtual environment. Dealing with social media, you deal with quite a bit of that, but it's no different here in this virtual environment. We want to make sure that everyone's being you know, safe and productive and welcoming to others. Anyone that's in violation of the code of conduct will be contacted directly, and worst case, you'll be removed from the actual platform. So I do recommend you take a moment to review the code of conduct, which was a part of your receipt when you registered for the conference. So if you haven't seen it, you can go back into the registration confirmation that you received, take a look at the code of conduct there. Okay, I have said far too much, and hopefully enough though to get you prepared for the conference. So I'm going to slow down and allow my counterparts, if you will, from DTCC to begin sharing their content around networking for internship and career success. And I would like to introduce our panelists today. Jody Brockington, who is the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at DTCC, Dylan English, who has multiple titles, but Senior Associate of IT, Cybersecurity Governance IT, Security Management, also an HBCU alum from Prairie View A&M, and Cheryl Moo Young, who's the Executive Director of Business Transformation Office and Business Analyst Chapter Leader, and also an HBCU alum from Morgan State University. So with all that, I'm going to turn things over to Dylan to kick us off.
Thank you, Bray. So before we get started, we also want to start with a quick survey, as this is the National Black MBA Association. We did want to have it a little bit HBCU themed. So as you answer the questions, we'll be playing a little humming music. So you should see the survey pop on your screen right now. So just take a minute to answer that.
I'm loving the roll call shout outs. Dylan, can we make it louder? I see you, Morgan State. I see you, NC Central.
All right. I think that was about enough time for everyone to answer. We pray that we get the results. All right, so our favorite homecoming event. I had a feeling this was going to be the answer, but tailgating. Prairie View, a lot of people don't even go to the games. We're just there for the tailgating. So I'm sure that's the same at pretty much every other game. I think I've been to one actual homecoming game. The rest is just tailgating. How did you hear about this virtual event? Most of you got it through email. That's good. That's good. And then have you participated in a virtual conference or interview before? A little over half of you said no, so this session hopefully will be helpful for you to prepare for that. And then lastly, what do you hope to gain from this virtual session? Most of you said all of the above, so that's very good as well. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Carol?
So that one's me, right, Dylan?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the importance of professional networking. So now that we're in this environment, it forces us to have to change, shift, and be different. It's very important as you're looking at the interactions and the connectivity that you get from National Black MBA, that you really take these exchanges with companies serious and you really work to network. When you look at your professional network, it helps you build the amount of individuals that can vouch and back you as you're going into this virtual world of having to look for a job or an internship. Your professional network, as you guys look to expand your professional network, you have to make sure that you're building it and you're really, intentional and purposeful about the relationships that you're building. So, and I say this to you because this is a very different time for all of us. As we start to look at how we network, it's very important for you to take, even in this virtual conference setting, all the interactions you have very seriously, follow up, use your LinkedIn profiles and connect with individuals and really take the time to figure out how you are going to, very intentionally network in this environment. When you look at your long-term success in your career, your network isn't just built in a day, right? It isn't built in the 4 to 7 years that you're in school. Your network is going to be a culmination of that period of time, coupled with all the different people that you're going to meet over the course of your career and all the people that you're going to meet at these conferences. I will say that from my personal experience, there were people that I was at conferences with as, I was in school that I spent time with outside after I graduated, and then we all became recruiters. So we ended up knowing each other and having that connection point so that we actually were part of each other's network. To a point where, we would look for each other in conferences and we'd be able to utilize each other for jobs and exposure and, looking for that next career advancement position. So as you look at how you're building your network, it's very, very important for you to start expanding your professional network. Next slide. Okay, so this one's me, Dylan. All right, so networking via online apps. We said this in the last slide. It's really important in this day and age to really be up to date with your LinkedIn profile and all of the different apps that are very key and critical and important for you to leverage from a professional network perspective. When you're looking at the things that you should do from a networking standpoint, it's very critical for you to look at the different communities that are out there, look at your areas and interests of focus and figure out, well, what areas and groups do I need to be involved in? When you're in LinkedIn, and this is a great tool, when you're starting to put yourself out as far as what's my point of view? What are the things that I value? What are the things that, I want to do? Articles, comments, topics, it gives you a much better social presence, which is more attractive to employers because they really do take a look at what it is you're doing from a social perspective. Additionally, as you look at your profile, it's very critical for your profile to match your resume. A lot of times jobs will come and they will look at that, what my profile looks like, and when it does not match what your resume looks like, they will ask the question, is something inaccurate? So it's critical for you to make sure that they marry, and maybe your LinkedIn looks a little different because of the way you're going to word it because it's a website. But as you look at it, make sure that it's very consistent, that the experiences are the same. And then also, when you're looking at how you're going to communicate, and this is a social media thing specifically, you want to make sure you're upbeat, you're positive, you don't want to put out too many political views and stances. I know it's very hard. You guys saw my Go Kamala, but that's because she's an HBCU grad, not because DTCC takes a position or stance politically. But you want to keep it lightweight, upbeat. You want to make sure that you are communicating in a positive manner. And then also, you know, you want to be authentic, right? And authenticity is something that employers really feel when you have that. And as someone who sat on the recruiting side and had to do it in this virtual market, it is a very difficult task for us as folks that are looking to hire resources, because at this point, we don't have the connection where we can see your body language, or we can see it, but it's on video. So I want to say to all of you, as you guys are in that search, good luck in that search, and make sure that this is one of the areas that you want to keep updated and make sure that it's accurately reflecting where you are. Next slide.
Finally, my turn. So I have been to enough homecomings and enough other events, definitely putting, as they say, people in seats at some of these HBCU games, but everyone tailgates, they don't come inside. So I learned the tricks. So I didn't go to HBCU, I went to UCLA and USC, but I'm still determined to get as many of you guys into DTCC as the two of them. You really need to network. And as we have been in this virtual space, it has become more important for us not to disappear. When there's an opportunity for you to show up and be seen, you need to be seen. And networking is really more about what you can offer someone else than what they can offer you. So the more that you can ask someone informally and formally will make sure that you get to the goals that you need. You use networking for everything, right? Best restaurants, if you're looking for a babysitter, if you want a dog, if you want a job, right? That's why we're here today. So, you know, you want to be proud of who you are. You want to ask the other person, you know, what do you like about what you do at your job? You know, what does Dylan really like about what he does in those 4 different titles at DTCC, right? What does he do there? What gets him up in the morning? Why did he decide fintech? He could have done anything. He's so smart, he could go anywhere, but we're hoping that he'll stay here with us at DTCC. So why this industry? Why technology? Why for you finance? Why are you even getting an MBA? Why are you a business major if you're an undergrad right now? Where is that leading you? You should have some goals for yourself. Where else do you network outside of work? Think about, are you parts of organizations? Are some of you also in fraternities and sororities? You can add those into the chat as well. Are you part of professional organizations to get ahead in your career, to find out about job opportunities? It's great to know recruiters and other people who are in your industry who might be able to hire you, give you an internship at their company. We have a lot of entrepreneurs who I know have been infiltrating the National Black MBA over the years, doing pitch contests and other things. Can you pitch yourself to work somewhere? What is some of the biggest challenges that people have faced in their job, in getting their job, keeping their job? What else do you need to do that? And is there anything, you always want to ask someone, is there anything that you can help them with? Is there something you can do for them? And even better, if you did a little research and you knew that Cheryl needed something, or Dylan was trying to get something done at his job and you could provide that, Dylan would more than likely listen to you first than if you were asking him for something. Next slide.
All right.
As I was speaking to before, there's personal networks and professional networks, and you need to be able to leverage those for networking properly. And so personal networks are a little bit more informal. That's where you're going to find the best restaurant, best place to possibly buy a car. You could find that at work, but that's not going to get you anywhere, right? That's more about having fun and things that can distract you. Best movie theater nowadays, best drive-in, right? Because everyone wants to stay socially distanced, right? But at work and professional networks, you really want to have your networking conversation focus around your success, where you're trying to go, your achievements, other people's achievements, and the achievements of the companies that you might want to work at or create for yourself one day. Next slide. Once again, professional networks, you spend some time there, right? Socializing, being out. We're doing a little less of that these days. There you have your Zoom happy hours and other things like that to connect. Stay in touch. Really, these days, a phone call means a lot. God forbid if you send a note or something like that. Entertainment for sure. We're all listening to probably more music, seeing more YouTube, watching everything we can online, and then games, things that just kill time. Professional networks is where you want to invest some time. And when you come to conference in the next couple of weeks, virtually and or before, you should start building those networks now, trying to connect with people on some of the social platforms that Cheryl spoke about. LinkedIn, you guys, if you don't have a profile there, you really need to clean it up. I would also add for you guys here today to also create a profile on Jobwell, which is focused on those applicants and professionals, young professionals of color, specifically Black, Latino, and Native American. And so they will find you faster there because it's like LinkedIn and they just took all of you guys out and put you on another platform. So you're easily found by recruiters there more so than LinkedIn because there's billions on LinkedIn. There's less on this other platform. So just an advice, another place to be found. And for the ladies out here, in addition to Jobwell, there's also Fairy Godboss, and DTCC has a platform on all three of these. So we can find women specifically looking for roles, but it is not race-based or culturally based. So make these contacts, stay in touch. The staying in touch is usually the hardest part. You meet someone, you hit connect, and then you never hear from them. So when you do connect with someone on any of these platforms, try not to just hit connect, try to say, there's at least in LinkedIn, there's a part of the app where you can actually send a private invite and say, hey, Jody, I met you today at the HBCU and National Black MBA HBCU crash course. You spoke about networking. I go to Howard or I go to Spelman and I'm interested in one of your internships or jobs. Because it might be 6 months till I connect with you or till I see you again, and I get a lot of requests. Cheryl does too, Dylan does too, and I'm sure LaPrey gets plenty. So next slide. Last but not least, virtual interviewing. So most of my job in diversity and inclusion sourcing has turned into interviewing. Even for the job I have today, until I showed up my first day at work, my whole interview process was via virtual phone call and online. And nowadays that is exactly what DTCC and all the other companies that you will be able to meet in the next couple of weeks will be doing as well. And at the virtual career fair, that is all that there will be. So you need to show up just like it is live. This is not to slack off and not wear your best and not look your best. You need to be your best self that day. So if it's being comfortable wearing your favorite color, having on your favorite shoes. They might not see your shoes. They're only going to see you from your waist up, but you need to be at your best, right? Phone screening, that's nice and that's easy. Pre-recorded stuff, sometimes that can work for you, but this is live. Live will make a difference. So you need to be prepared, have your information down, have 3 extra copies of your resume, post it up so you don't have to look down because they're going to be looking at you the whole time. You got to look at where your camera is, make sure you have great lighting. You want to be smiling. No one wants to hire anyone who looks angry or sad or looking down. They want someone who's excited to be there and excited to meet them. And God forbid if you know a little bit about that person who's interviewing you, because you're going to know in advance who potentially is going to be in that booth. So do the research, set up your location, try it out the day before. If you are using Zoom, you can check your settings and there's a setting there so you can make sure you can check that out first, make sure you are in the best light possible and make sure you're not going to have any distractions, nothing behind you, no loud noise if possible. I know for those of you who, depending on where you live, like me in New York, there's always some construction, something that's going to interrupt you. It's not the day to have the dog making noise. It's not the day for your brother, little brother, sister, or your child to be running around the house. Try to make sure you block out this time safely. And the most important thing, even if you're moving up in your own company and you want that opportunity, make sure you follow up. Even if you don't want to work there, you never know who that person knows, who else they can introduce you to, and what else they have to offer. And it might not be the right place for you to work today, but it could be tomorrow, next week, or another place. So next slide.
All right, social media tips. The first thing we have is once it's out there, it's everywhere. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think one of my favorite artists, Childish Gambino, has a line in a song where he says, because the internet, mistakes are forever. And it's so true. I remember even in college when professors and recruiters would warn you about posting things online. I remember going back to my MySpace account that I had in high school and deleting things that I had posted. So always remember, once you post something online, it's out there, and just be careful. We've even seen, celebrities getting canceled because of something that they posted years ago. So always be aware of that. And once you post it, you lose control over the message, regardless of your intentions or, how careful you are of what you post. Once people get their hands on it, they're going to try to spin the narrative, and into the life that they want. So just always, remain careful about what you post, and, where you post it. Potential school admissions and employers are watching. Very true. A lot of people, may not think about it, but potential jobs, they lift you up to figure out not just the regular criminal background check, but they can look up, your social media as well. So definitely be cognizant of that as you're looking for new jobs. And like I said, watch what you post online. About 84% of companies are using social media for recruiting purposes. It's funny because sometimes while I'm scrolling on Instagram, I'll even see like a DTCC post. I don't even follow DTCC, so I don't know how they're on my thread, but it's there. So just be cognizant of that. And then over 91% of employers use LinkedIn. Obviously, LinkedIn is the professional global background in terms of social media site. So whatever you post there, potential employers will most likely see, the posts that you make on LinkedIn. So just be aware of that. Next slide. And then navigating the workplace. So once you've actually got your foot in the door, what are some things that you need to do once you're actually, working for the company that you've landed? So the first thing is finding a mentor. So me personally, I have multiple mentors. I think you can never have too many. It's kind of like fishing. You can't cast out too many nets. Anytime you have this web of people who are just there to give you advice and help you on your career, it's always beneficial. And don't just think of a mentor as someone that is directly in line with what you're doing. My mentor works on our mainframe team. I don't work with the mainframe at all. So just having someone who's, directly aligned to you is helpful because, they can give you insight into what your career could potentially look at, but don't limit yourself to that. Look at people, outside in finance or in IT or whatever, your specific role is. Don't put yourself in a bubble per se. Accept constructive criticism. This should probably come obvious to most people, but it's very important that you're open to accepting constructive criticism, because in order for people to help you, you have to be able to hear the things that may not, be nice. Not everything is going to be, oh, you're doing a great job. Every once in a while, there are going to be tips where you'll have area for improvement. You need to be open to accepting that. And then embracing new perspectives. Like I said, don't put yourself in a bubble. Don't just have a mentor. Don't just have, people that you look up to in the exact same career path that you're in. So always be open to new perspectives and new ways of thinking, because you never know what you could, potentially be doing in 2 to 3, 5 years. Work hard and stay engaged. This one should be pretty obvious, especially when you're new to a job. It's very important that you want to kind of set the stage and expectations for how people will perceive you and what's your, your first impression. So it's very important that you work hard and stay engaged so that people can start to build that brand and that recognition of who you are and what you're known for. Express interest and speak up. A lot of times when people are new to a company, they're kind of a sponge. And so they're just sitting back, sitting on the fly on the wall, listening to everything and try to absorb everything. But it's really the people who express interest and speak out that stick out. Those folks who are always raising their hand and saying, hey, what do you need help with? What can I do? How can I help you? that really, you know, shines a light on that individual and lets people know, oh, you know, they're really, you know, trying to make a name for themselves here. And then be undeterred and come prepared. Come prepared is probably the biggest thing. I mean, obviously you all are here right now, so you're trying to take the necessary steps to be prepared. You know, use these tools and tips that we've provided for you here today. So when you do get that interview or you do get that job, you know, you'll be able to put your best foot forward. Next slide. All right, so a few facts about DTCC. So DTCC is the premier post-trade market infrastructure for the global financial markets. And so basically what that means is we process, clear, and settle about all the transactions of the US capital markets. We do that through many different subsidiaries. We do this through automation, centralization, and standardization. And one of the biggest things that you'll hear from people who work at DTCC is that we work very hard to mitigate the risks of the responsibilities that we have as a company. Next slide. So DTCC has approximately 4,500 employees working in about 15 countries. And an interesting number, so we process about $2.15 quadrillion in security transactions each year. Yes, that's a real number. We are the world's largest depository, holding 1.36 million active US issues worth about $63 trillion. And then a few other stats here, I won't read them all, you all can see that. But we are the premier post-trade infrastructure for the US capital markets. Next slide. All right, our global presence. So as you can see here on the map, we do have locations in the US as well as abroad. So we have an office in Dallas, that's actually where I'm located. We have an office in Tampa. We have an office in Jersey City, New York, Manhattan to be specific, Brooklyn, Boston, and then also, as you can see, Australia, Belgium, Canada, China. So we're pretty focused on the eastern side of the US and then as well as in Asia and in the UK. Next slide. Jody?
Trying to unmute. So the reason why we have most of you here today is because we have about 200 internships for 2021 that we are trying to fill, and about 150 jobs we are currently hiring for. We are 99% remote currently, and so you would be brought on and interviewed virtually, just like you will be in the career fair coming up. But I wanted to give you an idea of what our internship looks like. Our internship is a 10-week summer-long program. Starts around June, basically with everything that's going on. The dates have been a little flexible. And there it starts out with a lovely orientation. You set your goals for the summer in the department that you're in. You could end up as an intern with Cheryl. She's in the business transformation office. They're like an in-house consulting firm. So those of you that are thinking about being consultants, that might be a great area and idea for you. We do always have our interns participate in a corporate social responsibility event. So that's a volunteer event. We did food banking, they did stuff online, a lot of diversity and inclusion groups, stuff around Black Lives Matter. We did a bunch of opportunities, and we have some of our interns are in here today, and they had a great time doing that. So our company just doesn't do work. We also try to build our employees as people. So things that are of interest to our employees are of interest to our company. And then you'll learn about the business overall, all those numbers, the quadrillion, who our clients are, which are mostly financial organizations and institutions, all money that moves electronically, we are trying to protect around the world. And then there'll be networking opportunities where you would meet a lot of the people like Cheryl and Dylan, but in addition to our C-suite, our CEO, our CRO, my boss, who's the CDO, Chief Diversity Officer, and to get to know them as people, not just what they do in daily. There's a midsummer review to make sure you're on track to complete your reports. and all of the work that you are there to do. This is not getting coffee. This is not getting a coffee place, and definitely not when it's remote, unless you're getting your own. So this is a place where we do roll up our sleeves, but we do have a lot of fun, and people are going to be there to help you. So Sunny, if you can, in the chat, let them know how great your experience was, please let them know. And then there's always an end of summer presentation based on the work you've done, the other interns that you might have worked with, and for us to find out for sure if this was profitable and a great summer for you. So there's, feedback both ways, and then an end of summer review. Those who are seniors, graduating seniors, what we have below is our 2-year full-time program, which we call EDGE. So if you are graduating this year, you are also eligible to apply for our EDGE program, or if you just graduated this year, you can still apply for our EDGE program, of which Dylan was actually a part of, so he can tell you a little bit more about that when we have Q&A shortly. But that's a little bit longer. It starts just like the internship. You get to know the people, that the team that you're on, plus the other EDGE program. So you come in just like a class that you started at school. You would be the class of 2021, and they would put you through additional training, and most of those positions are IT focused. There are less in the other departments, and most of our roles are analysts and associates at that level. And having a business and a finance background, clearly these days we accept and expect everyone to have some tech background. That doesn't mean you have to know every language. You don't have to code. You don't have to know AWS back and front, but be open to learning some of that. And throughout the program and the first summer, you really spend that first year in training to get to know what your job will be about and where you're going to really end up. So it's just like any other MBA rotational that you would have at any other corporation, but ours would be focused mostly on IT and the other business areas that you might be in. So that's just to give you an idea of what we have there. If you see all of the majors accepted, the departments that we have, there's always opportunities in each of those. There's less in some, and like I said, the majority will fall under our business focuses of risk, cybersecurity, AI, IT, and then right now, because of everything that's going on, we're doing a lot more in the cybersecurity space. That does not mean that that has to be your specialty and it has to be your background. So the EDGE program really provides you with all the extra learning that you need to do to be a success at DTCC, hence why Dylan has so many titles and the rest of us are trying to catch up. So without further ado, next slide, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some questions. This is where you can find us. We have events every month for DTCC. So unlike Dylan, you can follow us on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Twitter to find out about our next upcoming campus recruitment events. And we follow Dylan because he works for us and that's why he gets followed. And you can also find us on all of those other sites below. The Fairy God Boss, as I said, we have presence on the Muse, Glassdoor, Ivy Exec, Black Ivy Alumni League, National Black MBA. I'm a member of the New York Metro chapter, so we always post some jobs from DTCC there and through our personal feeds. So next, this is what it looks like. This is our timeline. We are in it now. We started our recruitment August 15th, and we'll be running through these next couple of months until we have everyone hired. Our goal for our internships is definitely to have everyone going home for the holidays, or even if you're still home and doing school from home, to know over the holidays where you will be with us come June of 2021. We try to make it your Kwanzaa, your Christmas, your Hanukkah, your Three Kings, whatever you celebrate. We want you to know that you're coming to join us, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. Just have to worry about getting good grades and staying in that space. Next. The floor is yours. Any questions?
So there were a few questions that came in during the chat, but I think Raina did a pretty good job of answering them as they came in. Were there any that you didn't get a chance to answer that you may want to go back to, Raina, or Let me double check as well, but feel free to add questions into the chat at this time and be happy to get those addressed for you. There's one from Donnell Taylor. Can you guys see that one?
I see it. And Jody, I'll read it out. Does DTCC offer opportunities / development programs for May 2020 MBA graduates, particularly a concentration in HR?
Our HR roles are pretty limited. There are a couple of roles right now in HRTO, which is our talent and operations, as well as Cheryl, you and I were looking at a job today.
Yeah.
HR as well, but it was the acquisitions area. So there's always going to be something. I think it's worth looking at for those of you who have already kind of graduated. But you can also apply for our EDGE program if there's something in there. But usually in HR, I usually don't have an EDGE program. But now that we've added more technology and changed our platform for our talent acquisition, who knows? Because we are still acquiring those departments now. So I definitely say apply, get your application in and see where it rolls. But there are at least 3 roles right now in HR.
Dylan, the next question's for you. I'm currently an advanced sophomore at Benedict College located in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm a computer science major. Is there anyone I can be assisted in recommending courses I can take or anything I can do to enhance my experience or even my resume?
Well, I think it starts with what your interests are. I mean, obviously, when it comes to computer science, possibilities are almost endless. But what I would recommend is having something with a focus in either networking or cybersecurity. Obviously, cybersecurity is one of the biggest concerns with most companies nowadays. Every time you look in the news and another company has had a malicious hack or something like that. So it's very important for companies to have a big focus on security. But the other thing I would also recommend is networking. I'm actually getting my master's right now in computer information systems. And it's heavily focused on network and network security. So those 2 things I feel like are kind of like the foundation. So anything related to that, I think would be a good role or a good course to focus on.
Okay, I saw a question about that I think goes to LeBray. Does the registration fee cover all access to NMBA, National Black MBA events moving forward?
So the registration fee for the conference just covers your conference admission and access. Most events that we host throughout the year don't have a cost associated with them anyway, but the fee that you pay for a conference is for a conference. And one thing I'll add also is that all the content that we'll have during conference is going to be made available on demand. So you'll have it for 30 days after conference ends. So not only will you have it during those 3 days of conference, but you can actually access every component of the conference on demand 30 days after. So conference events are covered by that fee. Everything else throughout the year is usually no cost associated with that.
And I wanted to answer Shanae's question about resume. I understand you want to do entertainment and be on the business side of the entertainment field, which is great, but this is an answer for everyone. You should not have the same resume for every job you apply for. Every company is different and looking for different things. Even if it's the exact same job, even if it's the head of cybersecurity at DTCC, at JP Morgan Chase, at wherever, at, I don't know, Morgan Stanley, we are all looking for something different. And your resume should speak to DTCC if you're applying for us, and it should speak to a different field. You should not have one blanket resume. You might have one generic one that you use on a LinkedIn that's going to speak to what you most want to go after. So don't have the things on there that you don't want to be hired for. We all have parts of our jobs or things that we have done that we don't ever want to do again. So you don't want to highlight those aspects of your job. And I want to make sure when you're coming to speak to me that you're speaking to me and my company. So a resume is more of a template and a working platform that continues to change over time. So make sure you change your resume when you apply and you go speak virtually or not. They are still going to background check you. What Dylan said about your profile and what's out there is out there. So they're going to know what you did, but you want your best foot forward. So if we want someone, as Dylan said, who knows AWS or a specific networking platform, and you don't put that in there and it's in the job description because you just hand me some regular resume, you're not going to get that job. So keep that in mind of what's going to happen in the future for you. You know, so keep in mind that you need to keep your resume as a working document, not as a final description. And even once you've applied and you've met someone at a company, you want to make sure that you change up your resume after that first conversation with the recruiter. They might even give you some tips. Don't not change your resume per job.
That was great advice. Okay, so we have our last and final question. What can I do to prepare myself and succeed in the EDGE program? I think I can take that, and then Dylan, you can pile on because you did the EDGE program, because I have lots of EDGE folks that report to me. I think the key thing is that while you guys go, or first apply, right? So we are kicking the season off, as Jody said earlier in her slides. And what that means is, you know, we are basically, our system of record, we use the tool called HireView, and you will be asked questions about that job. So I would say, first and foremost, do a really great job on your HireView interview. They ask specific questions. They really want to see that you know, all the things that Jody mentioned, that you are an awesome person, that you have great skills, background, expertise, and that you could be a cultural fit for DTCC. One of the things that we didn't emphasize is that we are very small, but very mighty in what we do. And I think it kind of resonated with the story of how many transactions we clear and what we do for the markets. So when you look at what we do, you know, a cultural fit is a very important aspect of how we recruit. So when you're looking at going into the EDGE program, it's a very aggressive program that alongside the EDGE program, you are set on a schedule that's accelerated to promotion points, right? So there's 2 main promotion points that you get in that program. And then once you're done with that program, you graduate out, and the whole company looks at you because you were in this accelerated program, and you are essentially, you know, the starting off cream of the crop of the company. So when we look at what constitutes being successful, open-mindedness, hard work, willingness to get your hands dirty. We are a very strong delivery organization. We deliver to our clients. So you have to be delivery focused, client centric, the ability to, you know, make sure that we are doing the right thing on behalf of our clients is what we emphasize. The ability to pick up technologies if you're in technology, or understand the business if you're on the business side. Those are key things that are areas of focus that I think would make you strong. So, you know, that aptitude to just go out and learn is really critical. Dylan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you answered first, because I was in the EDGE program 5 years ago, and clearly a lot has changed since then. I learned something from you just now. But I think one of the most important things to do in preparing for the EDGE program after you apply, of course, is have a good idea of what you are passionate about and what you want to do and what you're open to do. Because from my perspective, when I was interviewing for the EDGE program, it was a panel style interview. So it was 3 individuals from 3 different teams. And it was kind of like they were trying to interview me to figure out if I would be a good fit for their team. So 3 different people on 3 different teams trying to figure out, all right, do I want him or do you want him? You know, so have an idea and be able to articulate what you're passionate about and what you want to do, but also that you're open to doing other things, because you don't want to, obviously you don't want to put yourself in a bubble where you're like, well, all I want to do is cloud security. And then if you don't have an open position for cloud security, everyone's like, all right, now we don't, you know, have anything for this guy. So have an idea of what you want to do. And then, I mean, the program, like Cheryl said, it's very rigorous. It will prepare you for the job at hand. So as long as you have an idea of what you want to do and we're able to place you in a role where we think you'll succeed, you'll be all right.
Yeah, and our IT program, I think they go through 6 months of training. On the business side, I think we do 2 full months, probably like a month and a half of training. Yeah. And that core training, they give a curriculum to make sure that you actually can succeed. So like the awesome part about it is you know, to Dylan's point, not every process is the same, right? So we had no standardized process of interviewing across the board. So he might've had a panel of 3. My team, when we were interviewing, it's 4 different sets of interviews with a case study. So every department, every unit is going to be different. So we can't cookie cutter the how you get in. But what we can say to you is, you know, really, like to Dylan's point, it's about what you're excited about, what your passions are, and tapping into that, because then you're able to succeed through, you know, driving from a passionate place.
Absolutely.
We're almost at time, LaPrey.
We are good. Yeah. So cannot thank you guys enough. Jody, Dylan, Cheryl, great information across the board, top to bottom. One thing that stood out to me in the entire presentation was there are over 200 jobs available, I think you mentioned, Jody, or 150?
200 internships, 150 plus jobs that we are trying to fill now. So those of you who are already graduated, we got jobs and they are stable, and you will be able to work at least remotely for the end of the year. But think about going to one of those locations wherever you apply soon.
Absolutely. Definitely do that. And to give you some additional encouragement to be a part of our conference this year, there's a QR code on the screen that'll allow you to take advantage of a $30 discount on your registration costs. So definitely take advantage of that if you haven't already done so. If you have any questions, obviously you want to connect with our panelists through LinkedIn, as they mentioned, certainly can go and check them out there. You can always email me as well, and I can direct you or make an introduction via email to them also. But again, I cannot thank you guys enough for the content. Thank you for sharing your perspectives. If you have any questions, concerns, let us know. But again, our conference starts in about, I think, 14 days or so now. We're just 2 weeks out.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks out. So this is a great way to close out this series. I think this was a great way to capstone everything with all the information you guys shared in regards to preparation and kind of what happens even after the fact. So again, cannot thank you enough, and we'll definitely give you guys the final word to close us out.
And one last thing I would like to add to all of you guys, you know about a lot of those large companies, and DTCC is not one of them. So often we do not participate in a lot of the career fairs because you guys have a long line at Microsoft, a long line at Facebook, a long line, and you forget about little companies. Do the research on the companies that the National Black MBA has curated for you. They want you. We want talented Black professionals in our companies. They might not be the biggest. And as Cheryl said, we are tiny but mighty, but we are the backbone of all those banks that a lot of you want to work at would not be open without us. So keep that in mind as you do your job search, to go to a place where you will get to learn, get the training you need to succeed, whether you stay there or move on, but you want to start someplace strong and you want to make sure you're going to get what you need. So it's not always at the biggest place and the places that you know. So write down a list of brands of clothes and things that you just love, that, as Dylan brought up and Cheryl said, that you're passionate about. If you love Nikes, then go work at Nike and do all the cybersecurity for Nike. If you love money, then you want to come to DTCC. Like there's things that you want to do. Go after that. Do not listen to your parents. Do not listen to your parents. Do what you are passionate about, because you will get much further and your parents will still be happy.
Well said. Any final comments, Dylan or Cheryl?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you all for joining. Connect with us on LinkedIn if you have any questions that we didn't get to.
Please.
Cheryl?
I have HBCU pride, guys.
Exactly.
Forever.
Enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe. Thank you all.
Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Jody, I will send the group an email after this to give you guys the summary for everything, as well as all the information.
So was
And
the last good enough for you, LaPrey?
it was perfect. Well done.
LaPrey, someone was correcting the last slide. I don't know what was wrong on it. They said
Yeah, the date was wrong.
date or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, there were quite a few corrections given.
And Raina, thank you so much.
Is that how they normally are?
Nah, this was a pretty unique one. They're very outspoken today.
Okay.
Might be one of our own interns from the past. They like to correct us. It's all good. But excited, so that's all that mattered. So, but the jobs are posted up, so they'll be up there. So thank you very much, LaPre, for facilitating that between you and Kashif. So the internships and a couple of the program business lines that already had their descriptions for those roles are up. So the overall description, and then for those departments that had their stuff together already, are posted.
Great.
So, and Raina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Raina.
Thank you,
Pumping that
Raina.
stuff out.
You kept popping those answers to those questions.
I'll tell you guys a funny offline.
See?
All right, I'm gonna close
Entertainment industry.
that one too. I'm gonna close.
All good.
Take care, y'all.
No, but thank you guys. Have a great one. And LaPre, thank you. This was our kickoff of all of our National Black MBA events. We have our Gold Key on the 17th. I'm doing a breakthrough panel on the 23rd. And then we're trying to get a date for our October Gold Key private event. So, you know, keep you posted on that.
Did you put whatever I need to be at on my calendar already? I'm
No,
a slave to
you're
the calendar.
free. You're free of all of that. See? I only make you suffer through one event, and then I let you free.
You're not supposed to take.
See what I get?
away.
See what I get?
Do you know what she
I will
does
see
to
you
me
guys.
though, LaPre? Do you know what she does to me?
I make her get her hair done.
Don't tell me.
all the time?
So no, but is there anything you need from us? And we'll get a copy of this too, is what you're saying?
Yes, no, I'm good. I need nothing from you guys. I'll send you everything that you need from me probably. And if you have anything else that you need, let me know.
Great. And then we'll get a copy of the chat too, because we
Yes.
still want to answer those questions.
Yeah.
Like our social media will still put those questions into things and have them answered. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you the whole everything.
cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.